we will dwell on the first lesson that is read to us from James. We have come to the end of James. During this past several weeks, we have been reading from James as our second lesson. If you look at James, there are two themes running right from the beginning to the end. One is wisdom, and another is faith. Last week, we meditated on wisdom from above. Wisdom from above is what we need. If we have wisdom from above, then show it in your good works. That's our meditation last week. The second theme in the book of James is faith. If you have faith in Jesus, then you have to show it in action. Faith without work is dead. That's what James clearly discusses in the book of James. Faith means that has to be shown in action. Now, in this passage that we read, if you have faith in God, then you have to put everything in prayer. This passage has got many such questions. If anyone is suffering, he should pray. If anyone is sick, he should call the elders of the church to pray. If anyone commits sin, you confess the sins with one another and pray. So faith is directly connected to prayer. If you have faith in God, then you will be praying. So that's our discussion this evening. We need to be praying. I have only two topics to take up, and then we will come to the end of our meditation. Number one, we should pray. It is all because we are under God's care. God is on his throne and he is taking care of his people. If you read Psalm 139, you would notice that psalmist is saying that where can I go? Can I go to the deepest part in the world? There again, you are there. If I go to the highest places, there again, you are there. No place is hidden from you. We are all under your presence, which is a very important understanding about our God. We have this beautiful expression in the Bible. Heaven is his throne and earth is his footstool. Heaven is his throne and earth is his footstool. Are we believing in a God who is a giant? No, we are not believing in a God who is a giant filling the whole place with his physical presence. No. What we believe is that God fills everywhere. No place is unreachable to him. No place is hidden from him. So we live in a world which is totally under the care of our God. That's the reason we have got this particular expression, heaven and earth are full of your glory, Hosanna in the highest. In our Eucharist prayer, we say this, heaven and earth are full of your glory. If God is on the throne, if everywhere, every place is known to him, every place is open to him, then why we face problem in this world? Why are we having difficulties in this world? Why are we having problems? Now, recently I had a wedding. In fact, yesterday I had a wedding in the church. And in that, I spoke to the couple and the people who were present from John's Gospel, chapter 2, the wedding at Cana. There, Jesus was present. In the presence of Jesus, the wine was drying out. In the presence of Jesus, we see a problem. Should we say that because Jesus was present that they faced a problem? No, no, not at all. We live in a sinful world. We live in an imperfect world. There problems do happen. God is not the reason of the problem. We are the reason of the problem. But God is present there so that he can help his people. That's the right understanding. Not because of his presence we are in trouble. No, we live in an imperfect world. We live in a sinful world. So problems do come, but Jesus is present with us so that the problems can be addressed. Jesus himself said, in this world you will have many troubles, but take courage. I have overcome the world. Yes, take courage. Don't be disappointed. Bring everything in prayer and he will help you out. Yes, when we go through troubles, when we go through trials, when we go through difficulties, bring everything in prayer. We have this beautiful words from Sermon on the Mount. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and you shall find. Knock, the door shall be opened unto you. Yes, that's what Jesus wants. That's what our God wants. He knows our needs. He knows our difficulties, but he wants us to express his need in our lives through prayer. If we say to him that we don't need you, then he is not going to bother us. But if we say to him that we need you, he is more than willing to come and help us. So James says, pray. Anyone is suffering, pray. Anyone is sick, call elders in the church to pray. If anyone commits sin, confess with each other and pray. If anybody is sick, call the elders in the church and pray. You know, this is again a very important expression. We all pray, but we also ask others to pray, which is a good thing. Ask your fellow Christian to pray for you. By the grace of God, we have got our own prayer team in our church. Every Saturday, a group of ladies and a few gents come together and they pray. They pray. Pray for the sick in the church. Pray for the people who are unemployed. Pray for the people who are going through financial struggles. They pray. And we have seen results. I should say, when the pandemic started, many of our church members lost jobs. And we prayed in that group. At one point, I had got 14 people in the list. 14 people who lost jobs. Some of them got jobs, some of them lost jobs. So the number went up to 14. And now, by the help of God, I have got only 4 in that list. Only 4. All others have got jobs. Pray. Bring the elders in the church and pray. One of the things that we face in our prayer team is that we don't get enough prayer requests. Every Saturday, the team leader of our prayer group writes to me and asks, Pastor, do you have new prayer requests? Pray. So call people, elders in the church, members in the church to pray. Prayer is very important. Now, he is also, James, talking about sin. Sin may or may not cause a sickness. We don't want to comment that. Sin may or may not. I don't want to go there. But asking forgiveness, confessing with each other brings healing. Asking forgiveness brings healing. That's what James says. You know, if someone commits sin, don't run away. Ask forgiveness. Confess with one another and pray. So then, number 1 point that I brought for all of us this evening is this: God cares for you. God is interested in you. God is watching over you. So come to him. He will not force his way to your life unless you invite him. He is standing at the door, knock, knock, knock. We have to open and we have to give him room, and he will answer to your prayers. The second point that we have from this passage is this: pray like Elijah. Elijah was an ordinary person like you and me, but his prayers were answered. He is not, James says he's like one of us. He's like one among us. But he became extraordinary. It is all because of his prayer life. Ordinary person become extraordinary because of his prayer life. If you read 1 Kings chapter 18, Elijah prayed for rain to come. That's what James mentions here. Elijah prayed and there was no rain for 3.5 years. Again he prayed and the rain came. Now, if you read 1 Kings chapter 18, there you would notice that Elijah is praying. After the sacrifice, which was answered by the fire from above, Elijah went to pray. Elijah went to pray along with his servant Gehazi. There on the mount, he started praying. He told the king Ahab, the Israel's king, that you eat, now rain will come. God already promised that rain will come, but he went and prayed. He prayed such a way that he bent his face to the knee side, and he kept his face in between his knee and prayed. Why did he do that? The scholars are of the opinion that he crouched and he put his head in between his leg and prayed. Scholars are of the opinion that that shows his humility. That shows his earnest. He is earnestly praying, and also he is praying and expressing to the Lord that he needs God's help at this juncture. Come to the Lord with humility. Come to the Lord with the earnestness. Come to the Lord seeking his help. Elijah knew that he needs help from God. Secondly, what do we learn from Elijah? He prayed 7 times. The first time he prayed with that position, he bent towards his knee, and in fact he faced down and he prayed, and he asked his servant Gehazi to go and see whether any clouds are coming. He went towards the direction of the seaside and looked, and there was no cloud. He prayed the second time and he sent. He prayed the third time, fourth time. Until 7th time he was praying, until Gehazi reported that I see a handful of clouds coming on that direction, coming from that direction. Then he stopped praying. Now rain is going to come. He ran. 7 times he prayed. In other words, he prayed until the answer came. God is on the throne. He is more than willing to answer to our prayers. Keep on pursuing. Persistent prayer. Don't stop praying. When you know that your prayer is within the will of God, when you know that your prayer is your prayer is in accordance with God's promise, keep on praying. He will answer persistent prayer. And you know how that day they had rain. Now, as we come to the end of our meditation today, think about prayer. Are you praying? If you are not praying, start praying. Pray for impossible things as well, because God is there. He is going to help you. We all know that prayer brings victory, but do you pray? Do we pray? Bring all that is impossible to the Lord in prayer. Now, we need to remember that prayer is not a substitute for our work. Now, let's not say that, okay, I will pray, I will not do the work. That's not what it is. We all need to be doing our work, but we are human beings. We are limited people, limited human. We have our own limitations, and we need help. And that help, God is more than willing to give. With His help, we can succeed. With His help, we can move forward. So pray, pray, pray. May the dear Lord help us so that we don't slack in prayer, but like Elijah, we will persistently bringing prayer supplications to the Lord, and we will be victorious. God bless us all.